All right. I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health.
Yes, we do.
My name is Jason Steves. I'm clinical account specialist with Perk Integrative Health, and I'm joined by my co-host, Steve Steves, who's a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath. He's been doing it for over 30 years now, and I'm glad to be here, Steve, with you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
It's nice to have you face to face here.
Yeah. It's the first time we've done it together in a little while. So
it's before this scorching summer, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited to get things rolling again, though. We are committed to you guys. We want this, God wants you to prosper and be in health. That's our focus. We're going to show you that way. And, the word prosper is often not thoroughly analyzed and understood. Just like when you get into a word breakdown, it's important that we do at times, but it means in so many different things that God wants to bless your life with.
Yeah.
That he would be glorified in your life, in your health, in your relationships, and his provision. If you're a seed sower, it says that he will give you the seed necessary to sow it in the earth, so his grace will abound more and more. And that's what we want. Good health allows us to sow the seeds that we're supposed to sow in life.
God says he's put before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life. He's giving us a choice. Our title today, Surge in Deaths Among Young People. That's something that we want to help equip you with. The Prosper Nutrition Show is how to choose life. And that has so much to do with our health and what we choose in regard to the 7 proven steps every day.
Well, so this article, before we even get into it, this article is obviously focusing on things that people are doing that are causing a lot of deaths in young kids.
Right. It's interesting because the article title itself is Insurance Industry Execs Alarmed by Surge in Deaths Among Young People. So the insurance industry has actuaries, people who do statistics. They track the numbers, and they basically predict the number of deaths, and the death numbers are astronomically apparently higher. Like I think there was a number of 100,000 more than they had calculated for, and so that's really where this is coming from. And part of the issue with this, and let me share. Actually, I need to share the screen here for the article so you guys can see it. Let's see here. There we go.
Somewhere in the article, what I read was so based on the statistics, when they came up with the 100,000, because, well, if you're using the VAERS system, Vaccine Adverse
React.
VAE.
Oh, it's right there. Event reporting system. Yeah.
So because a lot of them are not getting recorded, they estimate that it's about 600,000 deaths that are truly what's happening. So not just 100,000, it's 600,000.
Well, the number that I was referring to was it's 100,000 more than the actuaries predicted as far as total deaths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For I think it was just for a quarter period. I don't think it was
not even a full
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at this article, it's got some details, but we want to just kind of summarize it for you. And essentially what they're getting at is there's a surge in deaths among people of younger age and prime age. So not just like youth, but like prime age people that, that are dying. And they're not, the article kind of gets into the fact that they're not wanting to go into seeing how vaccinations, how shots are contributing. They don't want to go there.
Right.
And they're choosing not to go there. That's the whole premise of the article. And so that's something to be concerned about is that they're not wanting to go there.
Well, it has to do with the ingredients, right? And we know things that are in the ingredients are questionable. They're not the things that the biochemistry of a natural body can utilize. In fact, it becomes a toxin. And a toxin interferes with immunity, nervous system function, cardiovascular function, digestive function. So all of these problems that you hear that are coming up, they're really happening. That people are putting more toxins in an already toxic world that we live in. Do you know the average person, before they leave their home in the morning, they consume and put on their body more than 42 toxic chemicals?
So
that's the average.
So what you're saying is there's a way that we can kind of see the connection between the way these chemicals influence the body and how people are dying.
Exactly.
Okay. That's what I think that.
But it's a lot of difficult research.
Right.
And it doesn't give you a positive focus on utilizing a vaccine.
Because there's a connection and correlation there. At the end of the day, I think we told this in another podcast show, it's like there are always going to be comorbidities. There's always multiple factors that are influencing a cause of death.
For sure.
But we know that there are things that kind of start the ball rolling or really create a storm of problems. And so chemicals in our environment have a lot to do with that. And it's I think your whole career, and ever since I've been working with you, it's been underemphasized how the chemicals in our environment are influencing our health. Yes. People are in the diet industry are thinking so much about, well, it's the sugars or it's the fats or it's the they're focusing on these. People are getting too much of this, that, and the other, and they're not thinking about all these other toxic chemicals that are creating so much burden on the body. And
the body is just so much work involved to remove chemicals, and some not so efficient. Others, individuals struggle with detox function.
Yeah.
If you'll look, just a quick reference, and then I'd like to move into the positive side of this discussion, where we give you the natural immunity support. When we covered this issue of the impact of COVID, of vaccines, and everything that had happened over the 2 years in 2022, or the 3 years, one of our presenters, Dr. Lee Cowden, he just has so much deep research within his presentation. So he had a link to, of course, Children's Health Defense, and they had an article on 15 million vaccines that had to be thrown out because of some problems. They didn't pass inspection, and this goes on and on. Even on a daily basis, you don't hear about it.
Which article are you going to?
Dr. Blaylock's article, What is the Truth?
Okay.
So Dr. Blaylock is a brilliant neurologist, and if you'll look at this, who's hosting that article, he is involved in the Surgical Neurology International group. He was a brain surgeon, basically brilliant man. When his passion became, after years of looking at neurological chemistry and function with his patients, he really saw the impact of nutrition was the major role. And he has great YouTube videos, educational videos. I just love this man of God. He's just passionate and powerful. But look at this. This is a PubMed published article by this man of God. And he is hitting the nail on the head, talking about this issue. For the first time in American history, a president, governors, mayors, hospital administrators, and federal bureaucrats are determining medical treatments based not on accurate, scientifically based, or even experience-based information, but rather to force the acceptance of a special form of care and prevention, including, and he lists all the different medication or the vaccines that are used. So I encourage you to read the article, be updated by these
Interesting.
people.
Yeah. Can I read on?
Yeah.
For the first time in history, medical treatment protocols are not being formulated based on the experience of the physicians treating the largest number of patients successfully, but rather individuals and bureaucrats that have never treated a single patient, including Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, EcoHealth Alliance, the CDC, WHO, state public health officers, and hospital administrators. Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah, we need to find out where we're getting our information. So Dr. Blaylock refers to it. I've referred to it multiple times. This is the source of what we believe. This is also what Dr. Lee Cowden is referring to, and all the practitioners that I've worked with, all my mentors for 30 plus years now. The focus is building natural immunity. You have to build natural immunity even if you do choose vaccination. So it's what's responding to the chemicals in the vaccine. Whether you're going to live or die from that exposure is all based on what your immune system is capable of doing. So here is an article in PubMed, is again a great source of understanding T-cell immunity and the history related to SARS and the coronavirus,
which that's been around a while.
12 years. Yeah. So 12 years and seeing the history of it. And so the article goes into great detail about how the T cells can successfully, in a healthy individual, dismantle the virus and allow for the body to go back to normal health. Right. We understand that.
Yeah, because we know that a virus is not a living thing. It's a extracellular vesicle. It's not, it's put out by living things, right? It's like information. And so we don't have to be scared of it. We just have to give our body the wisdom and strength to know what to do with that information.
Yes. And there's a lot in this article. So we're going to kind of summarize the natural approach by focusing on the immune blog, soon to become an immune article that you have. What are you calling that?
Oh, yeah. So you want me to share that real quick here?
Yeah. Excited for the viewers to get a copy of this.
So there's an article that you put together, and actually, I'll show how. Let's see here. I need to share the screen here. It's kind of, I put it together, put your picture on the front page of this article, but it's got a lot of great information, folks, of how you can work on your immune health, nutrition foundations for immune health. And so it's something that you put together, and we're going to post. Right now we have it in a raw form that we're going to share the link with you, but we're going to soon have it in this format completed. It's not quite completed, but
it's almost fair not to title the article Nutrition Foundations for Immune Health, but rather Lifestyle Foundation. Right. So we get into more than just the nutrition of immunity. We get into lifestyle factors, how stress impacts it, how exercise impacts us, and so forth. So really key in that. And that's a springboard for us to really jump into looking at some of our immune products that we want to go ahead and make that available all during this time of year because of immune stress needs that people have. The immune bundle has a wonderful, pull up that list. There it is. Our immune bundle with the foundational support of vitamin C, of course, and zinc. You've heard about the cell energy, which is the highest bioavailable form of
cell repair. Is
of quercetin dihydrate.
Right. The dihydrate form of quercetin. You've probably heard of quercetin, obviously, a bunch. They talked about it during
COVID because of its ability to activate cellular signaling from the outside of the cell. And a lot of people have cellular resistance. That's what diabetes is. That's what metabolic syndrome is. And all the problems we're seeing in hormone issues today. And why people have high cholesterol is cell communication issues. So you can improve that with using immune products to get better cellular communication, especially with the dihydrate form of quercetin.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is dihydrate form is actually more bioavailable. If you take a supplement of quercetin, your body can only access a certain amount if it's not in the dihydrate form. But if it's in the dihydrate form, it's going to be fully bioavailable so that the body's going to be able to access it. And that's what we use in our cell repair is the quercetin dihydrate form. That's really important.
Can you tell them a little bit about the ORAC value of that product?
Yeah. So the ORAC value, that has to do with basically the way I think about it, it has to do with the value in regard to like plant-based nutrients and how the antioxidant level is, and they kind of compare it to how much plant food that it's worth, I guess you could say.
Right.
And so we can actually pull it up here on the evidence sheet.
The term specifically means oxygen radical absorption capacity. So why is that important? Well, free radicals or oxygen radicals occur a lot in patients that are sick. Now, people that are sick, their immune system creates inflammation. We notice that by fever. And so you get higher oxidative inflammation going on. That's a big reason why you need cell repair. You need the quercetin dihydrate with the pomegranate extract in there as well, so that you can allow for protection of those cells. And the ORAC value here, you can see that on the screen at the bottom. It's over 500,000 measurable molecules per unit of the dihydrate that's used in this test. And it's so many times higher than the standard of the industry of what's out there, either in food extracts or in juice extracts and so forth. So
yeah, it says here, cell repair, when tested, it was found to have an ORAC value of 485,600 per 100 grams, much higher than the well-known antioxidant-rich foods like mangosteen, dark cherry, and prunes. So these are, this is giving you your strength and nutrients for your body to resolve inflammation, to heal. That's essentially what these nutrients are helping you, is for your body to repair and heal. And so that's how that works.
The body does that. The body only knows that. So be encouraged by that. You were created in God's image to heal. And the body, the memory of cells only knows to communicate, to activate, repair, to restore, rebuild. Anything that's not happening in regard of that is not from God, is not the way you were created. The degenerative, destructive phases can all be protected. And it's harder in this fallen world of toxins that we see everywhere, and the stress that we're under. And a lot of it is unnecessary stress because you're putting yourself out there for being deceived, spending too much time in media. That's where people go astray. More time in the Word of God and more time with believers who know the truth and will build you up. And in fact, that's scriptural. It says, forsake not the gathering together of yourself, and even more now as you see the day approaching. So those of you that started hibernating during COVID, maybe you're not involved in church, you need to get back. And we've got statistics on being in fellowship. Just like when you and I do this together in the same room, it's so much more anointed than when we do it through video. We're separate.
Right. Yeah, it is much better connection.
There's a better spiritual connection. Yeah, we see that. So that's just one example, but it's proven in this. I think we've shared in that.
If you are concerned, or if you're not quite a people person, it's understandable, but you also want to kind of make sure that you at least get it in. You get that time in. I think God, because he's called us to that, at least once a week, where you are really fellowshipping with people like that, that is, I think, a reasonable amount of time for someone to be able to invest in that.
And there is no excuse for not being a people person, because our call here in life is to love God and love others. So you got to get out there and do that. And maybe that's just loving your spouse and staying at home with her or him. But, and I love doing that. Don't get me wrong. I just love being here with Mom and just hanging out and fellowshipping and praying and reading the Word together. But we are called to get out there and make a difference in this world. Your life is a light Jesus said, go and be a light. And speaking of that, these nutrients for giving light, I wanted to go on and mention some other, we could call them honorable mentions, but so many of the Prosper Nutrition products have a positive impact on the immune system. You know, we've got the cell repair in there, the vitamin C, the zinc. We don't see, for example, the cell energy in there, which is the choline citrate that works even better with uptake for magnesium. Doesn't it create like a 3-fold increase in the uptake of magnesium into the cell? And so
it actually can make, I mean, it not necessarily 3-fold, but it can increase it exponentially, just because it creates a neutral charge on the cell and allows the cell to open up. Like if your cell's not letting in barely any magnesium, this will turn the switch and actually open it up, regardless of what's going on. A lot of times there's this calcium ATPase, you know, it's like calcium. You've heard of calcium channel blockers, medications that prevents magnesium getting in the cell. Well, you can bypass that by using the choline citrate. It can help get that magnesium in there and help your body to be healthier as a result. More energetic cells, less inflammation, less risk for heart conditions. You know, and that's, I think, what a lot of these people are dying of. These sudden deaths of people that are young and fairly healthy is they're having a high inflammation and deficiency of magnesium, probably, and their hearts are stopping.
Yes.
And that's probably a lot of what has to do with it.
We saw that in Dr. Mildred Selig's studies on athletes that were dropping, young kids, football players. Their electrolytes were so depleted and sweating out on the field that they ran out of magnesium and their heart stopped. That's the challenge. And though we do blood levels of magnesium evaluation, we're only looking at 1% of all the magnesium in the body when you do a serum screen of magnesium. So you rarely find a doctor that will do that test. But the reference range is very narrow for optimal health in individuals. You want your serum magnesium at 2.2 upwards, just like your vitamin D. You don't want your vitamin D below 100. You want to have maximum vitamin D available. The only fear, and we get into this study, but the study that, you know, people are afraid, and doctors are saying this, oh, don't take too much vitamin D. Oh, you don't want your vitamin D too high. The number one thing that vitamin D does is it brings calcium into the system out of your digestive tract so that the body can use it to distribute it to your teeth, to your nails, to your bones. Even your heart uses calcium, but it has to be checked right, like you were saying, with magnesium so you don't get an excess. And if you're taking enough magnesium, you will not get a calcium buildup no matter how high your vitamin D goes, as long as your body needs vitamin K2, and you get that in our multi. But the K2 helps to carry it after it gets in the bloodstream, carry that calcium into the bones. So there's a great book called Vitamin D2 and the Calcium Paradox. Because people are all, oh, we need calcium for our bones. You need very little calcium, actually. You get so much in a teaspoon of sesame seeds or leafy greens, and we just get plenty of it. That's utilizable, and then transporting it better with the magnesium and the cell energy with the choline citrate. So the choline citrate is really a foundational nutrient, and not just for this immune support or for cell energy uptake, and magnesium uptake for blood sugar control. It's also important as you use choline to make acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter, and it's considered one of the most active neurotransmitters in memory function. That was the biggest thing I noticed, Jason, going on the cell energy, because I was taking choline about 1/10 of what I take now, probably even less than that. And I see such a difference in my short-term memory. Oh, where did I leave that? Keys from? And it's like, let me think for a second. Oh, there it is. Without consciously saying when I set it down, that's where it is. So memory is just enhanced greatly with cell energy. Let me look at a couple of others. So those, can we put that in the sale as well? The cell energy, liquid cell energy with the whole immune bundle. You can look at other components within immunity and the need there. We've got zinc. Even through the digestive tract, immunity would benefit, for example, from the Digest Max, using herbal bitters to turn on the vagus nerve for the central nervous system to send signals for digestive organs to digest your food better. Well, how does that affect immunity? When the food is not digested well, proteins that come in past the gut, they can cause damage to the gut. If they come through the stomach in larger molecules than they're supposed to be, then there's an inflammation in the gut, causes, you've heard the term, leaky gut syndrome. So the gut starts leaking, and the gut has 2/3 of your immunity anyway. So you compromise immunity in the gut when you have food that comes through that's undigested. Why it's so important to take time to chew up your food. When you don't, and you chew food and choke it down quickly, you're actually weakening immunity and you're setting yourself up for sickness. So let the central nervous system relax, get that digestion turned on, use some herbal bitters. It's 7 cents a serving. I use it at even between meals. I love the taste of it. It helps activate immunity because it's actually got some herbs that are in there, like the ginger, what's angelica root, immune supportive herbs that are in the product. So it's more than just a Digest Max product. It does immune support in a great way, and improve digestion, of course. So everything, the digestion bundle in itself has some vitamin C. The use of the muscle power and the glutamine for healing leaky gut. So if you do have any kinds of digestive symptoms, and that's where 2/3 of your immunity is, that's going to allow viruses or components to get into the bloodstream to weaken you further, to then allow you to get full-blown illness or catching the flu or whatever it is. You can stop that with a healthy gut, and that muscle power within the digestion bundle has the high quality form of the pharmaceutical grade amino acid glutamine with the PAC, pyridoxal alpha ketoglutarate. It's a component that helps to convert that so that you utilize and make enough GABA to keep you calm. You make enough glutamate, which gives you excitation, and it balances the two. Because too much glutamate, I had a patient that had high glutamate levels, and we did their neurotransmitter test. She actually was having 3 seizures a week, got her detoxed, and we found the glutamate after a month. She had after we detoxed, she had 1 seizure in the month. She thought, wow, I'm healed. This is great. I said, no seizures is ideal. So let's do the test. We did our neurotransmitter test, high glutamate. We got her on the formulas, obviously, but I had her research, and this is why the ELISA lymphocyte response assay, it's testing the lymphocytes. Remember when we read that article by in PubMed about T cells and their activation for killing viruses? Well, these T cells are measured in our ELISA test for how they're offended by the environment, how they're inflamed by foods, chemicals, molds. The ELISA food and chemical sensitivity test should be done every year. I'm getting ready to do my annual test. It's coming up. I'm excited because I want to know, because there were some things I went off of, and I'm like ready to eat those again.
Yeah.
Because you can, but in a rotational basis.
Right.
You got
to rotate it too. The more.
And that's provided in the report.
Right.
I like those reports that include that rotational diet.
Yeah.
So include that muscle power. You should be taking that every day. Your gut is subject to so many explosive compounds that are causing it to have leaky gut. So you're getting this overflow into your immune system in the what we call the humoral or the delayed immunity.
Yeah. And so, guys, if you use the code 11923 show, the date today, 11923 show, at checkout, you get 10% discount. So take advantage of that discount. I put that in the chat, and I'll put it in the notes at the bottom of the show. And as a reminder, every Thursday, we're going to be coming to you at 10 Central. That's 11 Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific every Thursday. So make sure you make a point to come in and join us live, because we will be able to answer your questions live as well. If you're there, type in a question you have. It can be on the subject, it can be a different subject. We can get through the day's subject and answer other questions that have to do with other topics as well. But we're here for you. We're available, and we want to help you to prosper and be in health. So
can we add one more product?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe. So our probiotic 10 Max.
Okay.
This balanced culture of 10 probiotics have just far-reaching impact on not just gut health and gut immunity, but the processing of nutrients for uptake in the cells within the body, so that delayed immunity, that transcriptive immunity, I call it, where the body transcripts all the information that it's found from what's they're being attacked or what's being infected in the body, and then the body develops its mature cells to go out and destroy the invading organism. So the probiotics we take on a regular basis, that we've just seen miraculous things with those. Like I had a woman that had vaginal infection, and she took one of the probiotics, opened the capsule, put it in some water, and did a vaginal douche with it. And went away in one rinse.
One rinse
with the probiotic 10 Max.
Wow. Yeah. So it's pretty amazing
to reestablish that flora.
People who we've had that have had like heartburn or indigestion or something after they eat, they've opened it up and take it, and it's relieved it almost immediately. I know I've done it, and it's helped me before. So that's another way that they can do it, feel pretty quick relief.
And the reason that works so well, so quickly, is the acid in the stomach. Some of the components that are in the probiotic are called acidophilus, various strains of acidophilus, the ones that are most effective in the gut for immunity, for killing viruses, bacteria, and so forth. So acidophilus comes from the Greek meaning acid loving. As soon as you open that capsule, it loves that environment and opens up and just takes away the burn from the acid that tends to be in the upper GI and reflex.
I would say also consider the fiber too. I know whenever I take fiber, I get a similar benefit. I feel better, and there's less of a burn or
the benefit of our fiber too. You've got the soluble fiber in there, but insoluble fiber that a lot of people buy is irritative, like they may buy psyllium husk, and it's from corn, and then they've got the GMO components, they've got the herbicide chemicals involved with that, so it's not a pure product. You want to use something, and that our regularity formula is our digest. What's it called?
Fiber Complete.
We've changed the name a few times. I take it every day, so I put a scoop in with my smoothie.
Okay,
and you'll notice the smoothie is not as sweet, because the fiber binds up the sugars and slows the release. So for diabetics, it's an important component to add more fiber to.
And if you don't want to add it to your smoothie, you can obviously mix it up in some water and just down it real quick, so you can enjoy some of your stuff if you want it a little bit sweeter. So
yes,
yeah, but this is great. So surge in deaths, there's some reasons for it. We have a feeling it's highly connected to the increase in toxic load on the body, the chemicals in our environment, and then more people putting chemicals directly through this membrane that's supposed to protect us, but we're bypassing it, and it can create some severe issues for our health. And you've seen it in blood work, and people that have been coming to you for years, their increase in inflammation and other health issues in their body as a result. And we don't want that for you. We want to help guide you. And even if you have had to, if you decided to do that, you can still help your body to detoxify and to be healthy and make a better choice and not do it in the future. But you can help your body stay healthy and not have to worry about things if you do the right things. And a lot of that has to do with getting your liver health up, getting that magnesium up with the magnesium that we have in our choline product, the Cell Energy. And so that's ways that you can kind of get started. And plus we've got the Liver Protect and the liver detox. Those will really help with getting those molecules broken down and help your body remove them.
Right.
And then you do the vitamin C max to really help flush things out as well.
Cleanse. So all of it impacts immunity.
Yep.
All parts of the body are affected by that. So we know even iron presence. You need to know what your hemoglobin, your iron levels are, because the oxygen in the blood is determined by the iron that's available in the hemoglobin. And oxygen, viral cells, cancer cells don't like too much oxygen, and oxygen depleted blood is definitely an issue. So
yeah, well, we wanted to share this with you guys. If you are local here, we are going to be doing some classes specifically on health topics like diabetes, heart disease, cancer. We're going to be doing these classes, and it's going to allow you to be in person with us. We'll teach very specifically on these topics, help you understand how your risks, your specific risks. You'll be able to ask us questions. So stay tuned. We'll tell you more about that. That's going to be at our Nutrition and Health Center office is where we'll do that. And that's local here in the Houston, Texas area. So you guys can contact us if you have questions. You can type a message into the chat. You can email us, info@prospernutrition.com. We're available for you. And so we thank you guys for joining us and watching the show. Take the coupon code 11923SHOW. Any product that we've mentioned today on the show is 10% off with that coupon code. So use that. That's good for the week, but don't put it off. Do it today, and you can start feeling the results with those supplements. That's what we've given you a 30-day supply with each supplement that you order. So you can do a recurring. You can actually get 15% discount if you do a recurring order with the supplements, and so you get a monthly amount each month. So that's a way you can do it too, to get even a little more discount. But if you just want to try it out at first, you can do the show 11923SHOW. Put that at checkout, 10% off, and you guys can get started feeling the difference. We want you to prosper and be in health.
Amen. Before we close, I want to share a testimony.
Go ahead.
So during COVID, a number of clients implemented our immune bundle, and we have a whole COVID protocol. And when I was sick with COVID, and it was pretty sure I didn't get tested that said it, but it was very obvious. I'd had a lot of exposures and my immune system was weak, and boom. I did all the protocols we talked about today were just a regular part of my lifestyle, but I did copious amounts of them to get my body to rebound and fight off the virus during that time, because I'd let myself get down. But there were companies using the protocol. When they would get sick employees, they would call our office, and we would send all the protocols for immunity and for COVID support and they would give it to their employees, and their employees would be back to work within, a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they deal with, they have over 200 employees, and that's how they support their employees, rather than the traditional model that's used today that's not working.
Right.
And consequently, they have very little lost time from work due to illness.
Right. More productivity at work, and then the people get to earn more money. Everybody's happier.
Amen.
That's the way we like. It's a win-win for everybody.
That's community wellness, and that too is something that we offer, and you're welcome to contact us about that.
Yeah. Well, great. Thanks, Steve, for joining me, and thank you all for joining us here today. Thanks for watching. Join us next week, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, here at the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health. Take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye now.